Behind the sealed vaults of Maranello, far from the deafening roars of race engines and the ever-watchful gaze of the cameras, something remarkable may be stirring, something that has the potential to shift the very rhythm of the Formula One season. 4 weeks now, Ferrari has been suffocating under the weight of internal discontent and unbearable public expectations. But now the silence has been broken, not by the scream of tires at turn 1 or a dramatic overtake under the lights, but by something far less theatrical yet far more telling: raw, cold-blooded data. Inside the hallowed simulation chambers of Ferrari headquarters, a quiet revolution may be unfolding. And at the heart of it, a partnership still in its infancy, but already threatening to shake the foundations of the sport: Lewis Hamilton and the Scuderia. No champagne has been uncorked. No checkered flags have flown. But deep within the virtual world of the SF25 simulator, something profound may have clicked. They may have finally cracked the riddle that has haunted the team all season long: how to awaken the dormant beast that is the SF25. This machine, beautiful in theory, but maddening in execution, has long teased Ferrari with glimpses of speed only to betray them with unpredictable performance. But now, Hamilton and his engineers might have unearthed the formula to unlock its soul. If what they've discovered in these virtual laps can survive the brutal transition into the real world, we may not be witnessing a mere comeback. We could be standing at the gates of a full-blown resurrection. The traveling circus of Formula One now marches toward Suzuka, the revered Japanese temple of speed and precision. This isn't just another tick on the calendar. Suzuka is the great equalizer. It punishes any weakness, exposes every facade, and demands total commitment. And if, come race day, Hamilton steps into that cockpit and finds the SF25 no longer wrestling him at every apex, no longer bucking him through the high-speed S's, then brace yourselves. We might be about to witness the reawakening of not one, but 2 sleeping titans. Ferrari, long lost in the wilderness of what could have been, may finally be ready to bare its fangs again. And Hamilton, the man once feared as the unstoppable force of Formula One, might once again become the nightmare that haunts every team principal from Red Bull to Mercedes. What the simulator revealed wasn't just encouraging. It was dynamite. A potential game-changer. For the first time all year, genuine belief, not blind hope, courses through the veins of Maranello. Not fantasy, not slogans, but conviction grounded in hard evidence. Over 20 unique setup configurations were meticulously tested across back-to-back simulator marathons during the break. Every run deconstructed. Every variable isolated. Every ounce of downforce and tire temperature dissected to its atomic level. Engineers and drivers toiled side by side into the dead of night, clawing for that elusive equilibrium, the razor-thin operational window where the SF25 stops being a liability and becomes a weapon. On paper, the SF25 had always been a promising concept. But in execution, it proved skittish, especially at the rear. A diva of a machine, capable of brilliance when everything aligned, but prone to collapse when even the slightest imbalance crept in. We saw it unravel in Melbourne. We saw it again in Shanghai. Rear-end instability. Snap oversteer mid-corner. Aero load shifting like a phantom. It wasn't just about lap time anymore. It was about survival. Both Hamilton and his teammate, Lando Norris, were left grappling with a car that seemed to change personalities from one corner to the next. One moment, it danced. The next, it spun. Trust was shattered. Consistency was non-existent. Something had to give. So Ferrari did the unthinkable. They went back to the beginning. Back to the drawing board. Back to Maranello. And this time, they didn't return with lofty theories or PR spin. They returned with answers. Cold, hard, data-driven answers. And if those answers hold up when rubber meets asphalt, then the entire narrative of 2025 could be rewritten in real time. Suddenly, Hamilton is no longer the aging lion chasing scraps from Verstappen's table. He's back on the hunt. No longer playing catch-up, but dictating pace. No longer clinging to podiums, but breathing down the necks of pole-sitters. And just maybe, igniting a final, furious pursuit of that mythical 8th world title. Because make no mistake, if Maranello's digital breakthrough translates into real-world dominance, then what lies ahead won't just be a comeback story. It will be a reckoning. And that, right there, is the question that now looms over the entire paddock like a gathering storm. Was this simulator breakthrough just another illusion? A mirage at dawn destined to vanish under the harsh sun of reality? Or have we just felt the first distant tremor of a seismic shift, a tectonic rattle that could reshape not just Ferrari's trajectory, but the entire 2025 Formula One season? Could this truly be the beginning of a new chapter? A fresh era where Ferrari is no longer tormented by ghosts of missed chances and broken promises, and where Lewis Hamilton, bruised but unbowed, claws his way back to being the most lethal force on the grid? We won't have to wait long for clarity. Suzuka is fast approaching. And when those 5 red lights go dark, the truth will be revealed in the most unforgiving way possible. Not by simulator screens or theoretical projections, but by the harsh, unrelenting honesty of the racetrack. Every kilobyte of virtual promise will be put under the spotlight. Every whisper of potential will have to scream to be heard in the chaos of real competition. This is the crucible. So, what do you think? Are we standing at the edge of something extraordinary? Is this digital miracle about to launch Ferrari and Hamilton back into the stratosphere of championship contention, or is this just another fragile flicker of hope, waiting to be crushed under the cold, merciless weight of racing reality? Drop your thoughts below. We're dying to hear what you think. And if this story has you as hooked as we are, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because when the lights go out in Japan, nothing about the 2025 season may ever be the same again. Let's rewind a bit. Deep within the inner sanctum of Maranello, far from the frenzy of media scrums, pre-race interviews, and the unpredictable theater of race weekends, something powerful has been brewing. Not a desperate gamble. Not a last-ditch experiment. But a deliberate, relentless, almost obsessive campaign to reverse the tide. For weeks, the engineers at Ferrari have been locked away inside the simulator room, methodically tweaking, tuning, and testing every conceivable variable, hunting down the elusive formula to unleash the beast that has lain dormant within the SF25. And now, they believe they've found it. What began as sheer frustration, an exhausting battle with a car that refused to behave consistently, has transformed into something much more profound. A moment of clarity. A revelation. Ferrari, alongside a reinvigorated Lewis Hamilton, dove headfirst into unfamiliar waters. This wasn't just about adjustments. It was about tearing the machine apart at a molecular level and reconstructing it from the ground up. What emerged from that process wasn't just an upgrade, it was a rebirth. We're talking about fundamental transformations here, a complete reimagining of both the front and rear suspension geometry, a recalibration of damper rates designed to handle high-frequency load shifts with greater finesse, and a retuned anti-roll bar package combined with an overhauled vertical stiffness profile. Every inch of the mechanical platform was reshaped, not with brute force, but with surgical precision, each component retuned to align seamlessly with the car's aerodynamic identity. Why all this effort? Because Suzuka isn't your average racetrack. It's a venomous serpent of a circuit, a merciless, twisting ribbon of asphalt that exposes every weakness in a car's DNA. From the sweeping S-curves that demand perfect balance to the rapid elevation changes that punish instability, and the sky-high speeds that leave no room for hesitation, Suzuka will strip you bare. If your machine wobbles, second-guesses, or flinches under pressure, you're finished. And that's exactly why Ferrari chose it. Not to survive, but to rise. And here's where things get electrifying. After days of non-stop simulation data crunching, Ferrari believes it has cracked the code. When Hamilton climbed into the virtual cockpit following the last battery of setup changes, the transformation was immediate. Grip levels surged. Cornering behavior smoothed. Turn-in response sharpened. Most critically, the handling, once as unpredictable as a wild animal, became stable, composed, and obedient. The SF-25 was no longer fighting Hamilton. It was flowing with him. Confidence at Ferrari has skyrocketed. So much so, in fact, that the team has made a bold call. Several aerodynamic updates that were initially scheduled for Bahrain have been pushed back. Why? Because they now believe the current aero package, when paired with the corrected mechanical foundation, can finally deliver the performance it was meant to provide from day one. In other words, they believe they finally have a fighting machine. And this weekend, we're not just going to see any version of the SF-25. Hamilton will be stepping into the most customized, refined, and battle-ready evolution of the car yet. Suspension settings at both ends have been radically altered to enhance weight transfer control, reduce rear-end instability during hard braking and throttle application, and maintain composure during high-speed transitions. A newly enhanced steering system has also been introduced, one that provides Hamilton with sharper real-time feedback and a more nuanced grip over hybrid energy deployment. That means he'll be able to not only extract more pace, but do so with greater precision and confidence in wheel-to-wheel combat. And that's not all. Subtle but significant tweaks have also been made beneath the car, adjustments to the underfloor aero structures and ground effect balance points that could make a dramatic difference in high-load corners. These changes aren't gimmicks. They're the result of hours upon hours of simulation, testing, analysis, failure, refinement, and belief. This is what it takes to win. So now we wait. Will the SF-25 rise from the ashes of inconsistency and mediocrity to become a real contender? Will Lewis Hamilton, armed with data, clarity, and perhaps a little vengeance, step back into his role as the predator no one wants to see in their mirrors? Suzuka holds the answers. And once the lights go out, the clock resets. The narrative resets. And if Ferrari's gamble pays off, the championship chase resets too. Because this might not be just another race weekend. This might be the beginning of the storm. The rigidity of the SF-25's floor has been subtly recalibrated. No radical overhauls, no reckless experimentation, just meticulous, calculated adjustments made with the precision of a neurosurgeon. The airflow beneath the chassis has been refined, not rerouted or overhauled, but carefully massaged and fine-tuned to achieve something specific: harmony. These latest tweaks, born directly from the obsessive late-night grind inside Ferrari's simulator complex, weren't crafted for headlines or hype. They were engineered to address a nagging, infuriating flaw, an instability during high-speed exits that has haunted Lewis Hamilton in the opening rounds of this campaign. Oversteer that comes like a ghost, unpredictable, unwanted. A sudden snap. A lost tenth. A ruined lap. Again and again. But what's most telling isn't just the numbers or the telemetry, it's Hamilton's response. According to internal whispers, the 7-time world champion has been visibly uplifted by what he's witnessed. Not just by the results, but by the culture shift. He's seen how ferociously responsive and adaptive this engineering unit has become. No longer stuck in rigid doctrines or stale philosophies, but hungry, alive, and willing to mold the car into a weapon that reflects his driving DNA. He's acknowledged that willingness. Praised the speed and surgical precision with which his feedback is absorbed and executed. For a driver whose rhythm is built on precision, whose edge is carved from trust, this kind of connection is everything. And so, Suzuka is no longer a damage limitation exercise. It's an opportunity. A declaration. An assault. Because if there's one thing Lewis Hamilton has proven time and again, it's this. When the stars begin to align, when he feels the car underneath him responding like an extension of his own body, he doesn't just compete, he takes over. He builds unstoppable momentum. He becomes the storm. Let's be clear, none of this guarantees dominance. Suzuka is a serpent coiled in asphalt, a legendary and unforgiving maze of balance and brutality. Even a tiny misstep, an imperfection in setup, a lapse in concentration, can spiral into catastrophe. The tire degradation here is merciless. Sector times can collapse in the blink of an eye. And yet, The simulator doesn't lie. If the digital leap Ferrari has made manages to leap off the screen and land squarely on Japanese tarmac, what we're about to witness won't be a return to form. It could be a reshuffling of the entire competitive hierarchy. The implications? Massive. If Hamilton delivers in Japan, not just a solid result, but a message-laden performance, he won't just flip the energy inside the garage. He could reshape the team's developmental strategy for the rest of 2025. It could redefine how resources are allocated, which driving style is prioritized, and, most crucially, how the internal dynamics between Hamilton and Leclerc evolve. Because if Lewis thrives under this new setup, the Scuderia may begin leaning heavily toward configurations that echo his preferences. And that shift? It could tilt the balance of power, not just within Ferrari, but across the championship table. And let's not forget, this isn't even the final form. A major aerodynamic upgrade is already waiting in the wings for Bahrain. A sweeping overhaul is penciled in for Miami. But none of it matters if Suzuka flops. That's why this weekend matters so much. It's the litmus test. A successful showing here could be the launchpad, not for a recovery, but for a resurgence. Yet perhaps the most intriguing element of this renaissance isn't what's happening to the car. It's what's happening to the team's soul. For years, Ferrari has been branded as slow to evolve. Too nostalgic. Too rooted in traditions that cripple agility. They've been mocked for strategic blunders and inflexible thinking. But how they've tackled this simulator breakthrough tells a radically different story. This is not a team reacting blindly to failure. This is a team that's adapting, evolving, learning on the fly. No longer frozen in time trying to defend an ancient legacy, they're building a new one. One shaped by relentless iteration, ruthless testing, and emotional investment. 20 distinct setup configurations. Hundreds of simulation hours. All crammed into a 2-week window. That's not just commitment, that's obsession. And in Formula One, obsession married to intelligence is the secret sauce that separates hopefuls from champions. It cannot be overstated, this is what wins championships. Not just raw pace, but the speed with which you identify a weakness, solve it, and bring the fix to life. If Ferrari has indeed figured out how to tame the SF25's mood swings, then this weekend won't just be about redemption. It'll be about reinvention. And for Hamilton, this moment marks a defining checkpoint in his journey with the Scuderia. He didn't come here merely to drive. He came to shape, to elevate, to conquer. And now, with a machine finally echoing his instincts, and a team finally ready to match his pursuit of perfection, lap after lap, curve after curve, history may be about to pivot. Because this isn't just about numbers on a screen. It's not about simulator sessions or upgraded dampers. It's about something far more intimate. The feeling. That deep, intangible connection, where a driver knows, without a shadow of doubt, that he's not fighting alone. That every late night in the sim room, every mechanical tweak, every sleepless engineer fine-tuning a rear suspension arm, it all whispers the same thing. We're in this with you. That message matters. Yes, the headlines are still riddled with speculation. Critics circle like vultures, dissecting every move. But inside that garage, inside the heart of Maranello, something rare is forming: unity. And for a driver like Hamilton, what he needs most right now isn't another press release. It's clarity, alignment, a car that speaks his language. That's what this breakthrough represents. Not just technical progress, but the rebirth of trust. Not just in the machine, but in the people building it. And then there's Suzuka. This isn't just another line on the calendar. This is sacred ground. A battlefield that demands total surrender. A place where car and driver must waltz through chaos with synchronicity or perish trying. You don't fake it at Suzuka. You either feel the balance through the flowing S-curves or you're chasing shadows before Sector 1 ends. You either trust the rear end through spoon or it throws you into the gravel. You either send it through 130R with blind faith or you lift, and lift your hopes with it. This is where the SF25 must prove itself, not on paper, not in code, but through corners that separate heroes from hopefuls. And if Hamilton finds that the rear end holds steady through those high-speed arcs, if he discovers that exquisite, elusive balance where the car becomes an extension of his nerves, then something rare might be happening. Because when Hamilton trusts his machine, when the car becomes his weapon and not his opponent, he doesn't just go fast. He dominates. He becomes an elemental force, unrelenting in race pace, unforgiving in wheel-to-wheel battles, capable of rewriting the destiny of championships. But this is the tightrope Formula One always walks. The line between promise and proof. All the theory in the world collapses the moment 5 lights go out. All the damping charts, aero balances, and simulator highs are just background noise until they show up in lap times, in race pace, in tire management. This is no longer a test of software. It's a test of steel. Can Ferrari take this leap, from virtual breakthroughs to Suzuka brilliance? Can a reimagined belief system, forged in the shadows of Maranello, survive the spotlight of Japan? The next chapter no longer belongs to Ferrari alone. It belongs to you, the fans who breathe this sport, who ride its every high and ache through every low. So we turn to you. Is this the dawn of a comeback for Hamilton and Ferrari? A strategic pivot that could reignite a title charge? Or is it just another mirage, a dazzling data fantasy destined to be shattered by the brutal sunlight of reality? Tell us what you think in the comments below. And if this deep dive into the technical and emotional pulse of Formula One fired you up, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat. Because the 2025 season? This isn't just a series of races. It's a high-stakes saga, an unfolding epic of evolution, revenge, and reinvention. From whispered upgrades in the shadows to silent wars inside the garage, from bitter rivalries to legendary arcs of redemption. We'll be here for every twist. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.